Hey, what's up, guys? So we're into a lot of detail right now. We're working on the wiring underneath, putting the wiring loom in. We're getting ready to run some plumbing. The initial stuff in there. We've got a rough opening in, or actually, it's not a rough opening. We've got the opening in for the first gray tank. We're waiting on contact cement to dry on the first full piece on the back side of the slide. And the guys over at the shop that we get our material from did a test piece for us, and I thought you might be interested in it. This is just it's a piece of 3mm board that it was a scrap piece we had laying around. We don't need very much to test it, but this testing on, this is closed cell spray foam, and at thickness, it's probably inch and maybe an inch and a half at the most. We're going to go back with more than that underneath this once it's all done. And then there's a pass of polyurea on top. This was the panel that we didn't use any primer on at all. I'll have Noah take some pictures here, but there's a lot of pinholing on the polyurea. What happens when you spray this stuff, it goes on really hot. It's 150 degrees. In the hose. When it hits the mixing chamber, it reacts. It actually raises the temperature past that. You're probably 160, 170. And if there's any moisture at all in the wood, the moisture will flash and it'll try to push back up through the material. And as this material is drying, the moisture is pushing up through and you'll get pinholes. It also, if you don't take care of it, then it will, over time, it can peel back up. So pinholes probably wouldn't be a big deal on the bottom side. Underneath flooring and all that, it wouldn't be a big deal to some shops, but we're going to prime. So we're not going to have pinholes in this. It's getting to be winter time, and it's actually supposed to be down in the teens here at the end of the week. And I'm already seeing a whole bunch of posts online at Facebook. Everybody's first season camping in the wintertime, second season camping. What do we do? Wet mattresses, wet carpet, wet windows, frozen doors, frozen this, frozen that. You know, what do we do? And everything goes back to humidity. One of the things that caused this floor to fail was moisture. These tubes are hollow, and I'll have Noah take a couple of pictures of this, but it's an aluminum tube, but there are so many little holes in this thing. Over time, moisture starts to get absorbed into this, and then when you get a big temperature differential, that's when things start to sweat. So it was actually, in my early professional days, I did a lot of water treatment, and I was in charge of some cooling towers and some boilers for commercial office buildings, and we dealt with, it's called wet bulb temperature. You ought to look it up. There's a couple of Google charts on it. But if you want to see how to control, you can control humidity inside your camper, and when you control humidity, then you can control condensation. But basically what's happening is the temperature right at the window is getting cold enough that it's literally sucking the moisture out of the air, and it just starts to run down. You can prevent that by lowering humidity or raising the surface temperature, or a little bit of both. That's the reason that fans work. When you blow air across the window, you're keeping that air movement going, and you're not evaporating the condensation. You're actually raising the temperature of the surface of the window on the inside, so the cold doesn't build up right in that spot. And what we're trying to do here is eliminate the temperature, eliminate the humidity from ever getting in and becoming a part of the system. So that's the reason. The closed cell foam, once you get to 1.5 inches, 2 inches, closed cell foam's not going to sweat. There's not enough temperature differential between the bottom side and the other side of it to allow the warm side. So if this was the floor, this would be the warm side. You can't get enough heat transfer to get the floor cold enough to let it sweat, which is one of the reasons we're going to go on underneath. Another big reason is strength. But anyway, one of the other reasons that we're spraying polyurea down on the floor on the inside is, think of all the areas, one spill. You get a spill in the middle of the floor, you do your best to wipe it up. It soaks into the floor just a little bit. You've got muddy work boots at the entrance of the camper. You set them down, you forget it overnight, they soak in, and that whole thing just starts to add up. That's the reason if you see a roof leak, we were working on our camper a bunch of months ago, and we had the back wall open. The wall had been open for like, I don't know, 3-4 weeks. And we were in a piece only 1.5 feet away from where it was opened up. We pulled it off that day, and the wood was still soaking wet. So once moisture gets in, it doesn't leave. It just keeps accumulating, gets worse and worse and worse. That's the reason on this camper construction, I'll have Noah get a picture of this as well, but when they build this thing, they actually run screws up through the bottom of the floor and into the wall to hold the wall in place. And if you see right here, this is a piece of wood. Over time, if this piece of wood gets wet, because there's an open hole down here, it's going to collect moisture, it's going to rot out. Now the wall gets loose. It's all just, it's not one single thing happening all at once. It's a combination of a whole bunch of things that happen over a long period of time. And that's the reason, if you think about it, all the camper manufacturers say this thing isn't designed to be lived in. You're running into that stuff because you're constantly building moisture. So we're going to combat it on the material side. Jordan's dealt with this for a long time. He knows how to combat it. Dehumidifiers in the wintertime seem a little counterintuitive because it's different than your house, but you got to maintain the moisture level and keep it low. Forget about dry skin and all that kind of stuff. Inside your camper, you want your humidity level below where the wet bulb temperature is going to be on the surface itself. I was messing around with a chart last night, and if it's 70 degrees inside, it's 10 degrees outside, and your surface is, let's say your surface is at 20 degrees, you pull your chart over, you need your indoor humidity to be around 35, call it 35%. Well, if you're at 50%, there's going to be moisture on the windows. Run your dehumidifier, get that, or run the furnace, get that humidity level down, and now you're not condensing. So that's what's going on. Another big thing, when we choose materials, it's all about strength. So we're gonna be more than 1.5 inches. We're gonna be thicker than this on the foam. We're gonna be about the right thickness on the floor material. This is just a piece of 3 millimeter, and obviously you can't see how hard I'm doing this, but it's strong. It's really strong, and it's a piece of 3 millimeter flimsy little just nothing wood here. And because we've chosen the materials that we've got a strong piece all of a sudden. So we combine with the extra aluminum that we put in, the extra supports and bracing that we put in, add the polyurea to the top of it, glue it down properly, control the humidity, control the moisture coming up from the bottom with spray foam, and you end up with a whole system. So there's been a lot of questions about, well, why didn't he go buy a new camper? Why is he spending all this money on this? And this is the reason why. It's all this stuff that goes into it. So again, this is a test piece. This is not going to be the final product, but it'll give you an idea. I wish you could see how strong this stuff is, but I'm at both ends of it, and I can't make it pop. And it's just a little thin 3 millimeter piece of wood. We're going to do some stuff on the sidewalls and everything, but the campers are built from the floor up. So we're going to have the floor just about done, ready to take everything else. And we're getting close to that. As soon as this looks like this contact cement's almost dry, so I'm going to stop yammering here and we'll get this piece down. But once we get all the floor glued in, we'll start into the walls. We'll get the inside walls prepped and sanded down and everything. We'll get the new foam in, get that placed, and once we've got the floors down, and once the walls are up, then we can go in, we can spray the poly, get it down, get it done. The other thing it'll do is it will seal up the transition between the wall and the floor. We're trying to eliminate air. You've got all these different things going on, but if we seal this up, we seal all these little pinholes, seal the ridge along the wall where the wall and the floor meet, all of that's going to seal everything up. It'll stop air, it'll stop moisture, and if you stop both of those, then you stop all your heat loss. If you stop your heat loss, well, it's just easier to live in. So hope that helps. Today is Tuesday, Thanksgiving's this Thursday, so we're going to get this edited tonight. We'll upload it tomorrow morning, and it'll be live for the weekend. We're going to take a 4-day. I'll probably come in on Friday and mess it, and Friday and Saturday most likely, and mess around and get some of the knick-knack stuff done. I don't know that I could take a 4-day week and not do something, but no, it says I can't take a 2-day week. I enjoy the work, and we've got a lot going on right now. So anyway, Stacy's in the office. She's working hard. Noah just got finished up with a couple of trucks, and since it is Thanksgiving, I just want to say thanks to everybody for watching and following along. Thanks to Jordan for giving us the opportunity to work on this thing. And you know, this is our first year in business. There's a roof job outside. There's a Roadmaster suspension job in the front. We just worked on a Class A yesterday. It had a heating issue. So yeah, we've got a lot to be thankful for, and just want to say we appreciate it very much. And hope you're getting stuff out of it. And I'm going to quit talking. We're going to glue some stuff down. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll talk to you next week. Later, guys.